And we are live. We're live here and we're live on the school platform. What's going on, team? Not sure if you guys recognize the painting in the background here. I'm pretty sure it's this one or the one over there, but they're very similar. But this is the Day One Den background for our logo, and it's funny too because like when I was coming through for the Fighter Fit Athletics logo, I was playing around with the app for the font placement, and I was just playing around, but I'm pretty sure I took a picture. It was a blurry picture of a gym flooring of the gym floor, so that's why the background's kind of grayish. Anyway, so that's the background for the logo of Fighter Fit Athletics. And now the Day One Den is the background of this lovely painting behind me. Yeah, so hope you guys are doing great. Visiting family here in the Cayman Islands. Got the dogs chilling out. Got the older dogs here hanging out, chilling out. Definitely love it here. It's so peaceful and just it's yeah, it's amazing here. It's amazing here for sure. Yeah, families in Italy, and then I think they're going to Turkey. I think we're all work related. But yeah, so I just wanted to touch base with you guys, check in with everyone. Make sure you guys are hitting up the 7 day jumpstart for the workouts, for the exercises, and making sure that you guys are progressing and getting stronger with your obviously your fitness and activity level, and making sure that you guys are dialing in your nutrition and also your habits. So that's why the 7 day jumpstart is there for you guys, to making sure that you are continuing throughout the week to dial in your nutrition, your habits, making sure that you are looking back at the previous week of what worked, what didn't, right? So the more information that you have to reflect upon, the more roadblocks you will be able to see in the coming weeks. And it's funny. I was talking to family here, and she injured her knee, and she was telling me about the physio and stuff, and the kinesiology or physio or chiropractor, one of the two. Obviously, it's physio. Um, yeah, I talked about the physio, and I was showing her the Day One Den Specialist app, and it was cool to come across this because she was like, "Okay, well, the Day One Den at this current iteration has the build of the blocks, the workout, the warm up, the exercise, the description, and it's all text based." And she's like, "That's cool how it's doing that. Like how look at the I told her about the brain behind it with the National Academy of Sports Medicine and also the American College of Sports Medicine, and the protocol and the knowledge and the methodology is built within the app." And yeah, so basically it made the workout block for her. I was kind of showed to her on her phone, just to show it. And she's like, "Okay, well, I don't know what these exercises are. There's no videos or anything like that." I'm like, "Well, in our school platform where we have the video coaching is where we will touch base with. And if you do have questions in regards to exercises, of course, for the 7 day jumpstart for the basic community open gym, you guys would have questions in regards to the 7 day jumpstart course material. And of course, if you guys jump into the second level, that's when you guys have access of this wonderful app, and also, of course, the exercises that we do with strength camp, fight camp, and bodyweight hit. And then from there, we'll touch base through live coaching, and also too, I was working with uh, a different app that was I was working with it, and of course, technology, as you guys can see, with even with me here doing the even just hitting the simply record button. I was in person with a client, and I know she knows, I know, the whole world knows that she has shoulder issues that needs to be addressed. And we were doing I think it was the overhead abduction or adduction. So basically, you start with your hand out to the side, and you kind of come up, and you see how close and the angles that the shoulder can go through for the adduction. Of course, flexion, extension, abduction is taking away. And yeah, no, it was the app, the video assessment I was working with. Um, It wasn't really as accurate I was hoping for. And I told this to the app developers themselves, and like, hey, I was doing it in person, and also with my experience of working with clients for all these years, I can kind of see the limitations of it. And so I gave them that feedback, and I cross referenced with a different modality to use, and yeah, that was a little that was far better. But yeah, so with the Day One Den school community here, just like personal training is, we need to have the that communication, but we also need to have you know performing certain exercises. Of course, asking the community on the news feed, or the news feed, the chat feed of, hey, working with the Day One Den specialist app. Here's some of the workouts, exercises. I definitely, for example, I love this workout format, this one here. So I'm going to copy and paste or screenshot and save this workout for future exercises and workouts. And I have a quick question in regards to, perhaps, let's say, um, let's say a quadruped position, bulldog position, and going through the hip extension or even the fire hydrant. And perhaps, when I was performing this fire hydrant or hip extension when you're all fours and in your glute bridge, or sorry, not glute bridge, you're all fours and you're onto your knees, and you picture this is my glute. So your knees bent, so a hip extension, so glute extension. And you're feeling it in your low back as opposed to as opposed to your glutes. So in that question, if you would feel that, then you come on board to the Day One Den, log in onto your phone or onto your webpage here, or to your laptop or desktop, and ask the community, and I'll see it. Hey, hey team, I was working on this exercise. I felt my low back. Perhaps you were too arched in your low back. Just taking a guess. And you weren't really feeling the glutes as opposed to in the hip extension, or even just for argument's sake here, for clarity's sake, hip extension in the quadruped position. All right, perhaps if that is the case, definitely flip onto your back into a supinated position and go perform glute bridges. And now, as you perform this glute bridge, you can also place hands on your hips as an external resistance. So, for example, in my glute bridge, I am pressing through my heels and my hips to the ceiling, and then once I hit just before the top range of that glute bridge, I want to have my hands placed on my hip bone, and I'm going to provide a little bit of resistance to that glute bridge, and really try to focus more so feeling on your glutes, on your bottom, on your butt, and making sure that that is being activated as opposed to your low back. And also too, making sure that you guys are fully aware of your anterior and posterior tilt of the pelvis, of your pelvic bone, your hip placement. There's that part. And also too, like, also to activate the glute a little more so, is playing with your feet placement, your foot placement. So normally, for a glute bridge, you want it pretty nice and close to you for a basic bodyweight floor bridge. Okay, and then of course you could have your feet onto a stool, onto a bench, or to an ottoman, and perform a glute bridge that way, just to prime the glutes prior to the quadruped position for the hip extension, as opposed to feeling your low back. Okay, so that's the whole point, is having this communication of the group coaching, and make sure that you guys are uh, having your areas of concern with your exercises, doing this at home, doing it at the gym, and make sure that you are well aware of how to positively, or to correctly activate that muscle group in question. Okay, that is the model of the Day One Den. So make sure you guys are safe and you guys are executing your workouts in a safe manner. But of course, having that dialogue with me and also the other members in the community. And also too, don't forget that we had a wonderful Date Your Health Summit. Fantastic summit, by the way. We had amazing speakers, amazing speakers. It always makes me so happy to hear and see other people, other coaches, athletes, kickboxers, fighters, nutritionists, business coaches, life coaches. We had, a fashion model, And just to hear the strengths and the resilience and the knowledge and expertise of performing or going after your goal in life despite setbacks within the mind or environment, and it is powerful to hear. And my I raise my hands to all the speakers in gratitude for sharing your story with us and sharing your experiences and your strengths and also your obstacles that you had to overcome. It was truly, it was amazing to see and hear. And day one den, you guys have that on the replays inside the school classroom under the Fall in Love with Fitness Summit series. And of course, the speakers have the direct link for the YouTube live replay, plus also the edits that I've done on my end. And yeah, so definitely dive into that. It's the the information, hearing, trying to find motivation. You're trying to find motivation, listening to other speakers, going down a path of journey, going down this path of, you know, Malaya's journey of wanting to be a Muay Thai fighter full time and moving to Thailand and hearing that passion and energy in her voice of wanting and going to make this happen and going to make this a reality. It that motivated me for my goals, right? And of course, listening to Janine's history and experiences of with her fashion and what her motivation or tools that she uses, looking at her life as a timeline and whatever specific moment is happening in this current time frame, she's going to take a step back and look at the overall picture of, okay, what do I need to learn to make sure that my timeline still goes down to the direction I want to. So what in this position, in this current reality, or not reality, but current moment of time, what do I have to learn to make sure that I am that much stronger going down the path of this timeline? Huge. Another thing too, she mentioned too, was the 2 minute rule, right? So even though I don't want to work out for whatever reason, no, it's too early for whatever reason to work out. I don't want to be in the gym this early, or I'm exhausted after a long day of work. I always recommend prior to try to work out prior to. But yeah, no, it's the 2 minute rule, right? So just, jump on the treadmill for the 2 minutes, do a walking pace for 2 minutes, jump on the elliptical, do some movements for 2 minutes. And I know Lisa in our day one den here, she really enjoyed that tool of the 2 minute rule. Just do something for 2 minutes, right? Just give yourself 2 minutes. And that can even be, like even for work related. I was listening to a podcast and a person wanting to to write a book, just write a couple of paragraphs, just get into have your environment that's set up for success for your writing capabilities, and to make sure that you are not distracted, and just write a couple of paragraphs, write that page, give 2 minutes, put a timer on for 2 minutes, and just write out, and just get that writing out and get that heart and soul of what you want to communicate into that material or into that written context. All right, so that's a 2 minute rule. And of course, we had um oh, I lost my train of thought there. I lost my train of thought. Making sure that we have the bandwidth also too to make room for the new this new lifestyle of ours by journal writing. By journal writing, by taking out what is working and what's not working. Right, so making sure my messy hair or natural flow hair. But yeah, no, like it's the 2 minute rule, making sure that we stick with our passion, making sure that we stick with our goals, and we find motivation. We find motivation. It is we have to do it. Another thing Janine said was you have to do it. No one's going to come and save you, so you are in control of the outcome that you want to achieve. That no one is going to come to save you, and you are in control of your outcome. So, for example, let's say today's Monday, we're hitting the day one, or sorry, the 7 day jumpstart once again to making sure that I had finished this week solid. So last week, what happened? What worked? What didn't work? For sure, focusing on I did work out. Thankfully we have a family here. They had access. Well, They have access to a wicked gym here, and, I made sure I worked out, and I absolutely loved it. Definitely, I wanted to what worked, was definitely my sleeping, my recovery, my food. Even though I'm in the Cayman Islands, I'm not really on vacation. It's just I just happen to have a beautiful backdrop and a beautiful area to continue my work here. But my nutrition is still good. So if I, for example, if I had overindulgence in a little bit of, chocolate cake or so, or, sweets and candy, and not candies, but dessert, I'm making sure, okay, well, if I'm going to have this, I better make sure that I make up for in either working out or a little more easier on the calorie intake total of calories for the number base. And yeah, so just, it is the looking back of what worked and what didn't, and continue forward for this day, for the 7 day ahead, and to making sure that I do my stretches. I brought my bands with me to Cayman Islands. I put them in my luggage, so I got my bands with me, doing my little hip work, internal external rotations of that hip joint, doing it at the gym, doing the kickboxing still. I went with I met a another buddy at the airport coming in from Toronto to Cayman, and we were talking, and then I'm like, what, let's go for his family lives close by. Well, kind of, it's a small island. His family lives close by, so I'm like, what, let's go for a run. Let's go for that run along the water, along the seawall here. And yeah, so him and his younger brother, we went for a run the other day on Saturday. Today's Monday, I think it was Saturday. We went for a run Saturday morning, and it was fantastic. It was absolutely awesome. I'm not really a runner, but I just love the aspect of fitness. So I was running with him, and I told him my age was, I'm 43. And he's like, "Oh, you're really fit for 43." Like, "Oh, that's cool. That's cool." Because we had a good pace on the run. We did about just under 10K in about an hour or so. Not hours, it was just under 10K. He had his app that was, clocking the or logging in the kilometers, but he messed up a little bit on the tracking. But yeah, no, it was awesome. So we went for that run, and, I still had, thankfully, the last time I really ran was once in Vancouver for, like, maybe like a 10, just, yeah, 10K. 10K is my kinda go-to. But I didn't really run. Before that was here in Cayman, and that was what, last time I was here was in November or in October, November, I think. Yeah, so it felt great, and then, thankfully, I was still working, consistently. I'm always working on consistently, but I leveled up a little bit for my workouts back in Vancouver with the kickboxing and my intensity level, right? So, like, you always want to have, you know, um, American College of Sports Medicine, or any protocol, is roughly around what, 6 to 9 weeks or so. 6 to 9 weeks. Excuse me. You always want to have that progression in your workouts. So, for example, let's say, I was telling bro, buddy, when I first started out, I never really ran because I had shin splints, right? I was having improper footwear. I wasn't addressing my tibialis anterior. That's the front of the calves. And, I didn't really address it. I just use that as an excuse not to run, is that I always get shin splints. And fast forward, like, no, that it's not the case. What I have to do is making sure that I work my calves, making sure I have them stretching, make sure that I'm using the foam roller and proper footwear, of course, but also too just getting used to that impact, right? So once you hit that heavy bag, when you're on your knuckles and your wrist, you want to make sure you want to build it up slowly. So it's either going through walk, jog, 1 minute on, 30 seconds off, right? Or even 30 seconds on, 1 minute off, and just, getting used to that impact of hitting the concrete or the turf. And yeah, so that's how it was. That's when I was here last time, or the first couple of times. It's just so hot here. I'm not used to it. And I was playing pickleball with my brother-in-law, and I was gassing out so fast. I was so surprised, like, all the kickboxing, all the stuff that I do, but I realized it's the heat. It's so hot, humid here. So I wanted to acclimatize by going out for running and getting used to working out in the heat. And that helped big time. Big time. It helped big time. So me running in the heat, especially around like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock p.m., when the sun's nice and full, nice and awake at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I could definitely got used to it. So our first run here, And there his the brother, the guy I was with, his brother does like marathon running, so it's in his DNA. But yeah, no, we had a wicked pace, and it was great running, and it was I think we ran at 9 a.m. on a Saturday, so still fantastic, right? So I definitely want to do that a couple more times on my own before I leave back to Vancouver. And yeah, so that is the recap of what worked for me last week. So you always want to making sure that you either write it down, log what you are doing for the workouts, the stretching, and making sure that you're setting yourself up again for for like I said, for the coming weeks, and to kind of forecast of okay, when was I performing optimally? How was my sleeping? Again with Malaya. Again with Malaya, she shared with us how she does 2 days. She runs in the morning, and then does her schoolwork and her other responsibilities, and then she trains at nighttime for her kickboxing. And she said, you know what, I would love to actually go do stuff at nighttime, or like hang out and have fun or whatever. But she has goals to achieve, and she also mentioned that she has for her food intake. She knows that if she has unhealthy foods, her performance the next day or her performance in kickboxing takes a dive down into a negative situation or to a negative state. So now she knows, like, I can't have certain foods because that's not going to help me train at my best. And when she shared with us in her talk, in her speech, or her, I don't want to say interview, but her, in her talk, she went to Thailand. She said that she always wants to train for a fight camp, or she's always in fight camp, meaning she's always prepared. So when she went to Thailand, she took on a fight like in 2 3 days of her being there, right? But it's okay because prior to, she was training, she was putting in the road work, she was respecting her art by performing or doing the daily actions of making sure that she will win despite only having a couple of days notice to a fight. And that's what it is for life. It is making sure that we are prepared and making sure that we are doing the work that nobody sees, that making sure that we are doing the stretching, the eating, that we are consuming for our mental capacity also, by making sure that it is more positive and that we are adapting and learning as much as we can about our art or about our business, personal development, right? How we conduct ourselves inside and outside of the dojo, in and outside of the gym, right? So it's having that first class mentality, but also that first class personality. All right. And yeah, no, take a look again, you guys. I don't want to talk too much, checking with you guys, but take a look at the wonderful replays, and of course the slide decks that was created, and the small little video segments, 6 7 minutes of the video recaps for the speakers and their talk and information that they had. And yeah, no, it's funny. I just updated that app. Now I got to figure out there was a bug, not a bug, but it's okay. But when I went to go look at it live, it's yeah, something happened. Something happened. So I'll take a look at that and figure out what's going on with it. And yeah, so make sure you guys, share with us in the community what you guys are working on. How is the 7 Day Jumpstart coming along? And yeah, so let's touch base through there, and we will see you inside the community.